So I was just talking to somebody, a customer. They were talking to me about like handling things that you see doing this job. And I said, I never get used to going into a house like one I just did. You go in there, there's pots and pans all over the stove, garbage piled up. There's 7 people living in a 1-bedroom house. There's a baby, a small dog, and you're just like, I'll be honest with you, your first thought is like, what the fuck are we doing here? You know what I mean? And you have to kind of, I used to get frustrated, in my 20s when I did this shit, because I'd be like, I just get aggravated, by it. Now I try to go and find motivation. Like there's a baby in the house and the baby don't need to be having no bugs like this. Not that I'm a miracle worker by any stretch of the imagination, but just to kind of like give me some incentive to do it, and I don't know, man, it's just you're never gonna be able to bully people into doing things better. So I just said to the mom, I said, well, she's like, I work midnights and da-da-da-da-da, and I just kind of said it as confrontational or dickheaded as you want. I just said, well, here's the thing, you don't need to be coming home at 7 in the morning and washing these dishes. These shouldn't even be in the sink when you're home. This garbage should be out before you're home. This shouldn't look like this. You know what I mean? And you got all these pots and pans with like oil and bullshit in here. Like, I know a lot of people reuse their oil, but you're really just giving, that shit is catching all kinds of particulates and dust and droppings from roaches, and there's the skin that they shed, their shell, the shit that comes off them. I'm like, that shit's all gonna go into that, and it's not covered. I'm just saying, like, you can get sick, you can get asthma, a lot of food allergies aren't even for food-borne illnesses, are really just cockroaches crawling across your food. I think that's a midget with tattoos, huh? Good for you, midget. Small person, whatever the word is, anyways. But you don't want to like shame people into doing it. But my first reaction is like, just get frustrated, because it's like, somebody's coming over your house, right? And then nobody, like, I don't know, like, you want us to, and all the lights are off, I can't see anything, it's pitch black. I'm like, well, I gotta kind of, that light bulb burned out. I mean, it's like, okay, well, let me go get my flashlight. Then the landlord shows up, and I'm like, well, instead of, I want to say, like, well, you got 7 people here, not one of you can put some, rubber gloves on and clean this place, no one's working. Like, I'm not, it's either just, I'm just being honest. These are thoughts that you have. Like, what the fuck is everybody doing? There's one little couch and everybody's sitting on one little couch. You got, you got to know that you got to know whether you know or not. And maybe you haven't experienced it, but you got to know there's a better way to do things than this, But, I just, it makes me thank God. Makes me thank God for the mom that I had. You know what I mean? My mom fucking held it down. My dad was a piece of shit. The more I think about it, I seen a girl today at the gas station with 3 little kids, and they weren't bad little shits, but I could tell, like, this mom had some patience. You know what I mean? The son's going, Mom, I need a Band-Aid. She goes, you don't need a Band-Aid. And I looked at him, I said, you're gonna need a Band-Aid. And his little brother laughed. And the mom laughed, and I said, I just want you to know you're doing a great job, because my mom had that. 3 kids, no car, she's cleaning people's houses to make money, and my dad's out doing blow, going to fucking nightclubs, going to Mexico, going to see the fucking Bills play, in Miami with my cousin and his girlfriend that's 16 years younger than him. You know what I mean? While his kids don't have a fucking car, it's snowing outside. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's a better way to do things.